I'm back. And my tea is cold. I think this is gonna be a short thread remaining of stream, probably, if I don't get stuck and be completely dumb. But also, I might get a real delivery in 30 minutes, so I can't really stretch it out. All we have left to do is mark these people who we think are likely to be a Roottrie and who we think are unlikely to be a Roottrie. And then find this thing, which is probably Jane Doe. You'll have 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Huh. They want me to go back. Music you loud. They want me to go back to my notes and sources and review which were likely to be an affair and which were not. This is interesting because she was with him a lot. She got a lot of money from him for the school for the deaf. And the husband had a meltdown about their affair, saying the children is not my children. But everything is possible is what I'm thinking. And there's the Jane Doe. Jane Doe Roottrie. I think what we're doing here is going here. Anonymous worked as a manager at a department store in North Carolina. Her daughter's name was Courtney May. They also said that the woman who had watched her for her famous cover story is named Corinne S. and that she had filed for bankruptcy. Courtney May, North Carolina. Of all the changes they made to the game from the first part to the Roottreemania part, I'm disappointed they did not add the option to search your notes. Let's go to Mary Beth, I guess. No. Okay. Hmm. Regina Clementine from New Orleans has been Stuart Clementine, sure, but one thing about their trio is spent after her since then. Stuart's mother was named Mary Beth Clementine. She was well known 30s on tour. Who? The church leader then moved when he heard Mary Beth's recording. Robin had felt kinship with Mary Beth since hearing her voice. Bibles for adoptions, most Esther. The question with Mary Beth is, are the adoption stories true? Or are they like a cover-up for her getting pregnant by a married man? Is what I'm curious about. I think Susan Ford, probably. There. She adopted 2 children in the late 40s, Stuart and Mark. She also spoke advocate with the adoption from instant grass. Unusual circumstances is a Oh, I never noticed this thing. Oh, they actually helping me by giving me which clues to review. Thank you. It's very helpful. Let's go in order. Sam's book, Master Learn Rumors, Consider Random Guy Hudson. Rose section where Sam speculated that Elias may also choose on Gwyneth. Gwyneth was always much kinder to Sam than Elias was, and was the first to invite Sam to family events. But this is not Beth. It's Bess. I was thinking Sarah, but I was thinking Elias. Elias also please remember Sam. Without a doubt in my mind, I can say without a doubt in my mind that my parents have never had eyes for anyone outside their marriage. But these are her parents, not grandparents. Listed in a different military history. He grew up in Opera because his family died in a hurricane when he was very young. He could care with his mother, had memory of his father. Let's see, probably not. Oh. Wait. No memory of his father. And she did. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. And she died in hurricane. Oh, what do I think? Is he a Roottrees? I think there's gonna be this for me personally. You adopted. They do look like him though. Now this means I haven't found 2 more clues for him. We'll come back to him. Ooh, haven't found a lot of clues for him. Probably because I usually stop looking after I have a pretty good idea or whether they're there or not. So real questions we have left is her, him, and these 2. Let's go look into Anonymous again. I feel like there is a Korean S. She recently had to take leave absence because people showed up at her dealership where she works. She's begging people to stop the accusations so that she can get back to normal life in a relatively fun. Journalists involved have independently verified that she's not an animal. Yes, I know she's not, but how is she related to Anonymous is my question. Hmm. Duck. Really? Beth what? Beth Watts is her name? Because this is her friend, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but where do I go from here? Yes. We can try. What did I say? Cashier is the... Oh, retail. Would this be? Correct guess. Hmm. Yes, that's what I'm asking you. Does she? Ugh, Courtney May. Yeah. Nope. Okay. I searched her mother before mother was not on the internet. Courtney May has a simple website with black text and a white background and a few images. From a view counter, you can tell you're the only one a few hundred people who has visited. She's not shy about claiming she's Jane Doe Roottrees. As proof, she has posted an obscure cover from the time she was featured in Newstime, as well as different picture of herself that appears to be a wedding photo. The website seems to be created in defense of her mother, who has been a target of public scrutiny. Underline the headline. The true story of Jane Doe Roottrees, courtesy of Courtney May Newton, formerly Watts. Courtney May writes, everyone has everything wrong. My mom approached the Roottrees before 5 Piece was ever on the cover of Newstime. Nobody at the Roottrees company took us seriously. They only listened to us after we appeared on TV and magazines. The site has a scanned letter from Ruby Legal Group and Courtney May's mother, Beatrice. In very polite terms, it's to accuse her of exploiting their name and orders her to leave the Roottrees alone. It's dated from a few weeks before 5Piece article appeared in Newstime, and it seems legitimate. Courtney May also goes her mother's magazine feature in more detail. Do you know how difficult it was to convince anyone to tell our story? My mom didn't want to show her face because everyone in the media we approached assumed she was lying, because her story was just like 5 Pieces, but my mom's story was first. She was advised by Ryan and Cork to tell Newstime that seeing 5 Piece on the cover was what inspired her to go public. That's the only way Newstime would agree to it and help her get on TV. But it's not true. Our story was first. Courtney's defense continues, but much of it seems repetitive and useless. Towards the end of her page, she discusses the DNA test and defends her mother's character. My mom is amazing. She's the nicest woman in the world. She has diabetes and works in department store, but still managed to help me pay for my apartment in big city so I could stay with my high school sweetheart. I got a degree in nursing, so I learned about DNA in college. But I'm beginning to think it's all a lie. Mom is 100% confident there is nobody else who could be the father. Either did the test wrong or DNA is complete BS. She's not a liar. And she has red hair. Smoking gun. Hmm. Danny. Danielle, what's her name again? Newton. Newton. Oh. Um. Oh. What I'm trying to do. Okay. I didn't want more information about Courtney. I wanted more information about Crocodile. What's his name? What's his... Where is he? There. Mm. Does this? Problem is we already have a lot of news time. Who's Ryan Cork? Hmm. Nice nail polish. Hmm. Letter from Ruby Angle Group. Why don't we get the letter from the... Is my question. Group? Group? How many times can we look into this group? Or this group? Ah, I thought this was like two guys, not a girl. um, did anyone not tell me I was not actually streaming this whole time? Brilliant. Brilliant. Miracle film burst in Caroline neighbors and bad ways. Cook. Lisa test you got from website from Ryan and Corey. The test says there virtually no chance that anyone was daughter Courtney May was a Roottrie. List the DNA from a Jane Doe was tested again. DNA and Bunnie Alakni Hudson. The genetic testing company, the testing a relatively new phenomenon that allows scientific laboratories to prove a possible family relationship between two people. It's fairly cutting edge. The method by which they test samples has only become standard in the last decade as of early 1990s. According to the site, DNA Teco was responsible DNA test that proved Felix Fellows was a Roottrie and even used it as an example of how DNA test works. They use it to provide some information about their process. Whenever they take a sample in person, they put the name of the person in the test according to their legal ID, which is why it says David instead of Felix. Because Guy Hudson is dead, there is no known DNA source for Guy. The tested Felix's hair sample sent from Roottrees. It's listed as Jane Doe because it wasn't collected from in person, but the Roottrie company let them know it was from Bonnie Kellogg, Hudson's sister. This is why it says a paternal aunt test. Left is right sets of number of essentially signatures that perfectly match the DNA of two people in question, nobody else. The way the test works is that certain parts of the signature are shared, then it is very likely to be related. As far as you can tell, DNA Deco is a legitimate company. They don't seem to have any reason to create fake results to hide truth. As far as you can tell, Naturopathy they've been brand to respectable companies. Bum bum bum. Let's see the alleged paternal aunt here. It's different. How do I... Basically, the numbers for alleged paternal aunt here. Let's say are not the same as these numbers. I'm pretty sure she is a Roottrie. My question is with this one. And this one. Okay. Okay. It's easier to get from here. to here to can I picketing kind of sleaze and they're not about publish a few details that are buggable. This Vegas Fiesta Original Mexican Chess held competition 93 offered 3 meals to life. Tournament that legally changed their name to Tostarito. The Tostarito was a burrito with a cylindrical tostada shell inside the flour tortilla. According to a few different sources, Street Jacobs used to be named Lucinda. There's a crime blotter article in this Jacobson that also mentions Helen Roottrees and this wounded Jacobson. Edith and her sister Lucinda arrested for trespassing from a congregation in church in Butler County. They're pretending to be church employees attempt to get into the room where church houses their weekly things. The church didn't press charges. They're caught by Helen Roottrees, who was there at the time while her husband Miracle was away preaching. Helen Roottrees was quoted saying, "Jesus forgives, and so do we. The Lord looks in mysterious ways, and I'm confident He has brought this young moment to us for a greater purpose." So Lucinda has a connection to the church. And she was the one who posted bail for I kind of want to say yes. I don't think this one is. I think I don't know about this one, honestly. I don't. Oh, scared me. I don't think these two are. This one is a yes, although also sus. Yeah. The problem with these kinds of things is that she was married, I think. And they could theoretically be also her husband's children. But also like all the money payments and stuff like that. Makes me think. Now, you. What hints do we have about you? Oh, you want me to look into 5Ps? Oh, well, there are a lot of shit about 5Ps, yes. Is her yet another different name for him? Poets, musicians, and dancer Dr. Davis is one of the musicians, so he did perform by this name. But is there also a different name? How do you want me to look into it? Maybe they're different. Grab 16.
Attention, Roottrees. This is 5 people coming at you from the real world.
You thought it was intentional? Yeah, sure. I was just talking to myself and loading screen. In Japanese, we call that tatami. When you think you're streaming and you're actually streaming, you're blocking your whole screen with something.
Like that Madsen chick and her two dads. My pappy's cleansing trust should keep you away. Yo, it's disturbing catching a sermon from a geezer who's never known hurt, but blurts out these claims that somehow we're sinners cause we didn't earn it. When all of your worth it came free with your name, you expect me to treat your lectures on greed as some expert creed from he without blame. How about instead I turn my other cheeks and spread them? When you give me a kiss, you'll know just where to aim.
You say money is a root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle.
Devil. Well, you're confusing. I thought it was Davy.
That's actually extortion with your candy ass name, synonymous with sweets. Oh, you wanna
Oh,
call
there
me
it is.
classless? I'm gangster from Portland, but I play that game. I came up on the streets. The only streets you reppin' are Park Place and Board. Your hypocrisy, monopoly is toppling. When I knock, have G's.
Top off my pockets, please.
Cause the same God that got to steal my mom from me is what he wants, right? For you to live in poverty.
Some fans have said there are multiple versions of different tracks, and some fans on
I
them.
guess I'm gonna have to take my portion, and I'll do it all legally. Class action, courtrooms, decorum. I'm way past your fancy ass dormant.
You say money is a root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Bring the choir in.
You say money is a root.
Is it just me, or does this song has this Discord sound of realistic knocking?
You say money
The same one.
is a root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest.
It seems to be the only song that didn't make into the studio album. People thought she should have, and it referenced a popular movie from 19 called White Man Can Jump. This reference has caused some confusion among the fan base. Because of it is agreed upon that mixtape had to come out in 1992 and the earliest, while others point that Fellowes references seeing the movie in his 16th birthday. This would have been in 1994. Some take this to mean that album had to have been released in 94 at the earliest. Others claim that he was likely just trying to make himself sound older since response to some of the more questionable lyrics. He has stated multiple times that he was just a dumb kid when it was released. They are telling me They're telling me that there is something sus about his age. Is he lying about his age? And if he's lying about his age, does it mean he's lying about everything else? Is it that his DNA test is wrong? So far. I don't know if I did this. I don't remember now if I did this when my screen was blocked or not, but we have 2 DNA tests, right? One is positive for the rapper, and this is his aunt, and this is his DNA. But this DNA sequence, if we can call it that, for aunt is not the same as this one. The numbers are all different, but they're supposed to be the same. If I understand correctly. Also, why are all these zeros? I'm confused. I don't know enough about DNA testing to make sense of the numbers and what should be same and what shouldn't be the same. But do I want to find more information for P's is the question. You should be asking me, I want to find more information on her. And you keep pushing me towards the 5 P's. Oh, fine. Where is he? I lost him. There he is. Famous young man. Was confirmed to be Roottrees. He's been married. Articles sometimes people that mention him. Nothing appears to new information. All reharishes. Okay. Five Piece is popular and attractive enough that even though the music is now targeted towards teen girls, they seem to be paying attention anyways. While he hasn't got down any interviews in the magazine listed, he's amongst the hunky hotties for the past few months with small bios that tell you various facts about him. This includes his real name, David, his birthday, 1977, his star careers, and where he grew up was here in Portland. The letter to editor also claims that it's not possible that he was born 1977, as he claimed on a song called 17 Magazine that he turned 17 in 1992. The editor responds with a statement that they've reached out to his agent to ask about the song and were told it wasn't performed by Peace and they shouldn't print rumors. Seventeen Magazine, sometimes referred to 17 Magazine as the title of an unreleased and controversial song by Dirty Davy. There's a mention of it in a few sites, claiming that it was on the first release of his mixtape but was removed. There's an no audio-visual evidence of existing but there are independent accounts from people who have claimed to have heard it, and they do generally line up. According to their recollection, it was about how many different loosely connected occurrences and the number 17 mostly violent. The intro states it was written Davis' 17th birthday and involved a fictional but glorified series of murders at a fashion show for a teenage magazine with a similar name to the song title. The person doing the violence was apparently trying to beat Dahmer's high score. Jeffrey Dahmer was pleaded guilty, killing 16 people in 1992. The major acts of gun violence in schools early this year, or every year. With the subsequent backlash against violent music and video games, it is generally considered very poor taste to bring it up. Most of the people that enjoy mentioning it online are either trolls trying to shock people or come from morbidly curious corners of the internet. They are trying to push me into the thought that he's lying. But if he is lying, what do we do about this? Ruby, Ruby. Ruby spread like her legal company is relatively elusive. The most complete source of information you can find from before her time with Roottrees is from website or a magazine owned by a major airline. She was the subject of one article from a recurring series about modern-day success stories. Ruby grew up in foster care but excelled at school and earned a scholarship to study in Manchester University. There she graduated on top of her legal class and was quickly hired as a lawyer for a prominent firm. Is she also a Rootree or something? There were high-profile corporate involved cases she was part of and was legal consultant for a class action lawsuit against the manufacturer of steering wheel covers. That was to help local gas station with put out of promotional gas station customers the ability to bet on the price of gas. Hell no. The blurb ends by calling her firm double threat. Her company serves a cross between traditional lawyer and PR manager. Clark Ruffalo, as well as Ruby Spread and her company Ruby Link Enterprise, were featured in Business Watch after the company took over Keeper's Clean's Trust. There's an article about that process involves both Clark and Ruby. It seems that Ruby actually approached the Roottrees sometime in late March after Rootree Rift, but well before Roottreemania. An accomplished but relatively low-profile lawyer, she offered to work for very little money, so long as she could be public-faced to build her reputation. The family quickly jumped on his chance, as many family members often attempt to spend as little as possible to keep their shares of Clan's Trust as high as possible. After looking over Clan's Trust more carefully than anyone had in years, Ruby came to the conclusion that Clancy Edward Rootree's implementation was not legally sound, and that there would be constant legal challenges without some modifications. The family decided to put her in charge of the trust, both legally as a public face, to prevent further issues. Ruby Legal Enterprise has been described as a mix between a law firm and PR firm. Her first move A sort of trial run before she was even hired permanently was to help them draft a public statement accepting Sam into the family and declaring that they'd begin to address the clan's trust. This went quite well, and they officially hired her in April. Ruby Legal is now in charge of many financial aspects of the company, including verifying claims of trust and organizing various charitable causes such as scholarships that have been set up in the name of the deceased. Ruby Spread graduated top of her class from Eastern Legal College. Her valedictorian speech was somewhat controversial at the time, as it was quite serious with a heavy focus on wealth inequality. This didn't go over well with predominantly middle up to upper class students in attendance. The editor of the Herald at the time, Herald, we'll call it Herald, said Ruby, unsatisfied with simply earning her place in Midwestern with a full scholarship, went on to earn a captive audience of her peers with perfect GPA. It felt like a ideal occasion for a celebration of an undoubtedly incredible individual. However, by the end of her speech, there were many in the audience that wished that neither of those events had transpired. It was a passionate attempt to use her soapbox to proselytize her fellow students and their parents into a religion of poverty. But unfortunately, judging by the silence, they remained unconverted. We'll come back to that. Ruby Spread was featured in Telegraph when she was in high school article called Local Teen Making Change for Foster Care System. According to the article, Ruby Spread grew up in a foster care system, was apparently the valedictorian of her school, and was a Girl Scout who, at the time of the article, was earning her Gold Award. This required a project to help the community, and Ruby chose to raise money to build a fountain she called Foster Fountain. The fountain has few small pedestals that stick up high above the water. People are expected to toss coins at the fountain for good luck, and will be encountered to aim at the top of the pedestals. All the coins grabbed from the bottom are slated to be donated to Portland's foster care system. A coalition of local businesses that sponsored the fountain have committed matching any donation that successfully hit the targets. We'll also need to come back to that. Would she have the Fountain of Youth, also known as Foster Fountain? Would she have a motivation to fake 5 pieces DNA result? All proceeds from change thrown to fountain or native foster care system. Website for Portland Park and Recreation mentions under trivia section of fountain use, originally conceived by Ruby Spratt, an alumni of the foster care system. As more business and sponsored groups scope even beyond Spratt's original hopes. The fountain is unique because it has special targets that visitors can aim their coins towards. If a coin lands on one of these targets, each of the sponsor business matches. This isn't a huge amount of money from each business, but more than 100 businesses have agreed to participate. So each penny becomes $1. Good. But also kind of scary. I don't know. I don't know. Did I not do it before? I thought I did it before. Where's her name? Was featured Business Watch in 92. She missed the Watchman of the Year, but did have a pretty sizable article about mentions some of her history. She was born in 47, the first of two children. Her mother was already in 30s when she had her and had trouble conceiving second time until 3 years later. This was Sinyo's sister. It became clear that her father was not going to have a son to pass the family business down to. This is how Shinyu became involved. Her father stayed president Lang Tai for a very long time, and her daughters grew up and began training them in hopes that one of them would have a son who could take over. One helped him in China, another in USA. Neither were given any official titles. When he died, due to societal dynamics, the business passed to his male sibling, younger brother. Many that knew that this would be a problem. His brother, Sinyu's uncle, was not a businessman and was not much younger than his brother. During this time, Sinyu essentially ran the company's uncle's restaurant. He began to have problems related to dementia, and Shinyu, who had already been running things behind the scenes, performed somewhat of a power play. She stopped working till the results of her absence began to cause problems. And then did they admit to needing her. So, I mean, the only new piece is probably a restaurant. And I have no idea how it helps me. Yeah. I think we already definitely searched for this. Often in the last 20 years or so, were a lot of articles about rise of Chinese companies, and currently this makes the results. No. Okay, I did not search. When you sort, they find the oldest articles. However, one of our list mentions rank number 79 stands out as very unusual because it doesn't involve Lang Tai's business. The article details a new, at the time, medical industry. The Vitrine fertilization was a brand new, barely a year old, after the first successful IVF birth in 1978. It seemed that industry began to grow, and the featured article about different companies all over the world. The cost that they will charge for their services was in Business Watch. This included a few cases of high-profile customers willing to pay premium. Apparently, at the time, CEO of Lang Tai was Lang Hongbo, and his younger daughter Lang Xinyao and her husband could not have children. So, in attempt to create a suitable heir, he paid Genes to have their child implanted in his older daughter, who was unmarried. The cost for this apparently 300 yuan, just okay. So we say no. Medical company with operations about years in China. They made national news 94 after a whistleblower came forward. Apparently, the service were monster satisfy. While they did often perform IVF, the whistleblower proved that a few of their customers paid for a very different service. An alibi. Oh. Okay. The company would claim they performed IVF on someone who was already pregnant to create a cover story for high profile families who did not want to give up a child but did not want to shame of an unmarried mother. The whistleblower claimed that they had helped to do this at least 6 times, but only proved of one case, the daughter of an American politician who is unrelated to your investigation. Quijin shut down soon after both founders reportedly fled to Lebanon, where there is no extradition to either China and US. Gay jeans. Okay, mentioned one article you already read. There's a long article that spells out a huge controversy. It seems that whistleblower came forward to the US government about key genes, which was said to have been found in China by partnership involving American Chinese medical specialists who then built their medical facilities in the United States. The article mentions the whistleblower's claim Cajuns will not sometimes claim that they performed IVF when they did not. This would often be used as an excuse for an otherwise unexplainable pregnancy. They'd fly their clients to America, then they would stay for an extended period of time, then return to China with news of successful IVF pregnancy. The whistleblower apparently presented the Department of Health and Human Services with credible evidence. At the time of the article, it was still an ongoing investigation, but Business Watch speculated, after copies of proof were leaked in various media sources, that they couldn't imagine a world in which the company would be allowed to continue operations without facing serious or legal consequences. Um, can't you actually pick gender with IVF? Company news whistleblower came forward to say that they would often claim to perform IVF but were just accepting bribes for forged paperwork. Newstime did have a few articles about it during the height of scandal. They produced a hypothetical timeline of how client would use the company. Generally, celebrities of other powerful people who found out they were unexpectedly pregnant would declare that they were going to use the service as soon as possible. During the final week of pregnancy, the client would travel to Keijin's facility to either China or United States, which was opposite of their home country so they could maintain lower profile. They would then give birth to be photographed with their newborns. During their recovery, they would then stay on the premises for a few weeks and months. This was built into extremely high-class spa. After these weeks, the photos would be released and the birth would be announced as if it had just happened. This extra time out of spotlight would allow birth to appear from over 9 months after the announcement the celebrity was going to use the service. Uh-huh. I mean, in her case, I mean, I don't want to select this because you can prove it if you do a DNA test. Oh, this changes. To do you say? It doesn't change when I change this one. Let me check something. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, these are the two. Why are they in question? Oh my god. Why is it there's always something else? Why is it that every time I see, oh, it must be the end? Everything, new things comes out. Who is even elves? No. Oh, you. No, I don't want about him. I want a different hint. I want a hint about those two. Yeah, let's... I'm pretty sure this one is a sun. Also, pretty sure we read this one. Owns many forms of media in Brazil under the umbrella of Transmi Sao Paulo. Business Watch has mentioned her by name a few times. The most relevant appearance seems to be an article about the struggles American media companies to do business with their foreign counterparts due to difference in laws. A few media groups and countries are discussed, including those of Africa and the Middle East. Transmi Sao Paulo is Brazil also discussed. Due to lack of freedom of speech laws in Brazil, there has been added bureaucracy in publishing certain stories. Don't make me read that word again, please. Channels. Nia it's just long. Nia is extremely private about her identity and supposedly wants her use her connections have a reporter fired from rival network and blacklisted. The journalist claimed that this was to shut down a story he was doing about her personal life, including that her marriage in 1973 was not her own choice. His research claimed that she essentially had her husband forced upon her as a child bride at the age of 15, which is not surprising. It also claims that past appearances with her husband have been for show. They do not live together and that she resents her own parents for their arrangement. The final claim was that she must have met her money under the table through nefarious, possibly legal, means during Brazil's dictatorship, as his research uncovered that she could not possibly have earned enough to start media company otherwise. After making the statement, the reporter went to hiding to fear for his safety. Oh, yeah. Let's go. What's your name again? Ronald Roottrees. Was not the president of Roottrees during Roottrees Rift, but the press release immediately reversed the announcement and instead stated Ron and Clark would take over. Ron has also done some interviews saying that the truth of what went on behind the scenes is not something he wishes to discuss. Instead, he hopes to release a movie about it someday. Three weeks ago, Ron's mother Gwen died in Paris, France. He and his brother Obi have seemingly made amends. Business Watch ran an article about 2-month Roottrees Rift about what really happened. Roottrees. I will be back. I forgot the time. Okay. I will have to jump up when my door rings. Honestly, I like and admire how much creativity and writing went into this game, and that it keeps you on your toes in a way with the developments. But I do think that I'm peeling a what's it called in English? Clementine? Mikan. I think some of the mental leaps and gymnastics they expect you to do is a bit far-fetched, far-stretched. I know, I would prefer for things to fall in place a bit more logically, to be honest. And not just, oh, you have to search every single term to jump to a random article to get to a place you did not expect to get to the point where you started. I'm missing a little bit of logic, to be honest. Which is why I'm happy that we have the duck option and actually ask for hints. The article mentions that nobody from Roottrees that they reached out to was willing to go on the record. Instead, the timeline of events has been constructed from public record accidental leaks and the source on the inside. I think we read this. They seemed eager and personally motivated. They were worried they could get the clan stripes removed from Obi Roottrees. He seemed like he was unwilling to protect the clan's trust and eventually let him go. Don't blame nepotism, he gets results. I mean, I did think that it was weird that they were from France, but What was the second one? Robert. Is it Rob? Mm, mm. Mm. Hmm. Was like Robbie. I have no idea. Don't remember. I remember they had some kind of like what's it called? How do you even spell Robbie? Mm. Okay. There we go, Robbie. Robert was released from French prison after serving a few years for assault. His embezzlement arrests were particularly featured in 6 pieces. Robbie's participation in a clandestine trust was a key piece of evidence in Sam's favor, and have since become much more public and famous. He has not yet returned to the United States, but when journalists reached out to him directly after the death of his mother, he had issued a blanket statement a few days ago. The death of my mother was hard on the family. My brother and I, after spending time together caring for her in mourning, have finally made amends. It was highly transformative few weeks when it came to our relationship. I'm in recovery for my addiction, major aspect of that process, and I wish to stay private. Business Watch wrote an article about 2 months after the Roottrie rift about what really happened with the Roottrie. The article mentions that nobody from Roottrie that they reached out to was okay. This we read. Okay, this we read. Everything is so confusing. Our production seemed to have no project listed in development other than Guys Like Us remake. The Guys Like Us remake has been discussed a few times on the website upcoming films called Movie News. The look is cow in a film canister. The rumored cast is Cameron Diaz, of course, and they're all originated by Gwen, Linda Florentino, and Chris O'Donnell. According to leaked news, the remake had been put in definite hiatus. The director, who is speculated to be Ron Roottrees, dropping out in the wake of serious medical issue, though that's only a rumor. Hmm. Don't make me search for Cameron Diaz on this side. In this game, I mean. Again. Was someone known well actress active in 1950s? Her biggest role women are in movie guys. No, she died in Paris, France about 3 weeks ago. Yes, we know that. After leaving Hollywood, she made no effort to stay in the limelight, and most obituaries tend to focus on her largest role, guys like us. Yes, we researched that. Not much is known about her death, except that she announced she died peacefully in her sleep while being treated for a sudden severe case of pneumonia. Before that, she had apparently been in relatively good health, according to friends and family. And so, why did you want me to spider search it? It's not giving me any useful information. Well, Bill of a child on the wind. We're sticking with for the last name, not Williams. Into alliteration. I searched for it. What do you mean? My guy. Literally Googled this. Where else do you want me to search for it? Person now starring vendor tree. Person lane, familiar box, made question back. What was seen as somewhat formulaic, so it didn't really stand test of time compared. Okay. I have a question. Why are we looking into these guys unless she's not Roottrees? Are there any real questions of her being pregnant? Like, if she was a guy, okay, sure. Sure, because he was sleeping around. But the fact that he was sleeping around should not affect the fact that she was pregnant. No? What am I missing here? What should I? Why? I don't understand. What is the mental gymnastic here we're doing? Leslie Florence was the other actress in Guys Like Us. Did she adopt someone else's baby or something? Was she never pregnant? Before Kaisla was in a few very small supporting roles, and her performance Kaisla cast was generally thought of quite good, especially considering she got second billing to Quinn. Even with success to acclaim, she retired from Hollywood almost immediately after a co-starring role. Not much known about her until recently when Guy Like Us was released right in Taylor Roottreemania. Recently, as part of myriad of articles and research people have done to surrounding Roottrees, it came out she died of genetic disease known as Huntington's in the late 1960s. So what we are going to find out that the sons have Huntington's and they're not Gwen's sons? Is this where we're going with this? Huntington's neurodegenerative disease that mostly recognized because memory issues, controllable movements in the limbs. Other symptoms onset somewhat in 1350, those affected by Huntington's live 15, 18 years. Their symptoms worsen. There is no cure. Huntington's passed genetically from parent to child. The gene that causes Huntington's works in such a way that if a parent has the disease, there's 50-50 chance that their child will get it. Huntington's cannot be passed on recessively, meaning it cannot skip a generation. In other words, if someone has a mother or father with Huntington's, but they themselves did not receive it from that parent, their children and their children and so on will also never have it. Until the early 90s, it was impossible to test for Huntington's, since that symptoms would usually appear later in life. This would often be as a person affected already had children. It would then be impossible to know if their children had it. It was a 50-50 chance. In 1993, determining which gene causes Huntington's, it did become possible to test children for it, and no disease was passed or not. For a variety of complex reasons, however, children are considered unable to consent to such a test and are therefore very rarely tested unless they're showing early symptoms. And why are we here? Did we learn about No. We didn't have any information about them having symptoms in early childhood. Okay. Okay. Though physical fortune favors the grave, did not make an appearance in Winter's funeral. Because of his absence, there were rumors online he must have already died. But according to a reporter that tracked him down, he is in his 70s, still lives in Paris, and is still perfectly fine health. He even went to the record in saying, I think it was Mark Twain who said the rumors of my death have been greatly exaggerated. That seems appropriate today. The few years I spent with Quinn were just one stop along the very long and complicated journey that have been my life and career. The last time we spoke was when I signed the divorce papers. She asked me to never contact her or the kids again. I've always respected those wishes. They never reached out to me either, even as adults. So I have to assume they have some idea why she hated me so much and the sacrifice she made on my behalf. I wish them well and I'm sorry for their loss, but we've all been strangers 40 years, so I can confidently say they wouldn't have wanted me to be there. In fact, I'm confident my presence would have ruined it. That is true. Unless she adopted children of his a fair partner. I don't see how anything of this information is relevant for us. I feel like it's just like searching for the searching purposes at this point of time. Unless we suddenly find out that his... What's the name? His children have Huntington's. Comedian Bill Bethesda Green was a part of recent fundraiser arena comedy legal last about a month ago. I see now. I see. Okay. Fine. I see. Best medicine was help find a cure for Huntington's disease. According to website, she released a statement. Up until recently, I didn't know anything about Huntington's. In the last few months, I've known from knowing nothing about learning it more than any reason should ever know. Until last decade, it was impossible to predict if someone susceptible to Huntington's had the disease. But due to advances in medicine, tests have been developed. Okay, fine. Apparently... I don't know if it's both of them, because they're not twins. Either she adopted both of them, or... I'm gonna leave it at this guess, just for funsies. Because, well, he probably has Huntington's, because she's now aware of Huntington's, which means his mother had Huntington's, which means she's not his mother. I don't know how he fits in anything. If anything, this one, a suspicious one. This was the suspicious one. I don't know. Let's just get the judgment. Let's get the truth. Here's the final optional address you found. Newton Daniel, yes. And the pictures, yes. Number of optional addresses left for next time. What next time? Please don't scare me, game. What next time?
Beatrice and Courtney May. Clark, can you swing another test against Bonnie's DNA?
This time I'll be sure to have them verify both samples in person.
Okay. 1 week later. Yep. Hello, Sam.
Using the family tree you filled out, as well as DNA tests, we were able to uncover the truth behind all the inconsistencies.
Thank you.
Clark's handling the business, but I've come to thank you and fill you in on everything we've learned.
Finally.
Buckle up, because it's been one heck of a week.
I'm buckled. It has been a hell of a week for me, too.
Actually, that's an understatement.
True.
It's not every week you discover your family company is being sabotaged by someone they trusted.
The lawyer?
But that's the kind of time we've been having. Like I said, buckle up. Maybe
Buckle
grab
up.
some popcorn. We'll start with Guy Hudson.
Okay.
Guy
Popcorn.
had a frankly ridiculous
Popcorn
number
in
of
chat.
potential children. What shocked me is how many graduated from potential to confirmed.
Oh, they were 2? Or no?
We can even prove he was aware of them. The smoking gun was how he used company money to pay off a lot of women.
Mm-hmm.
He hid it with a method inspired by his idol, Elias. 5-piece flavors. The flavors he was paying to research were a ruse.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Huh. So Elias also played. Okay.
He developed flavors based on the initials of the women he was paying, which was really stupid, considering one of their names started with X.
True. I didn't make this mental connection. Women he was paying, so 5 children. Caviar, Christine, Beatrice, Sonia, Born. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
Let's start with Christine. Guy was paying her under the name Caviar, but there were some
Caviar.
other clues. James was born 9 months after Zach's party.
Ooh. Never asked me to make the calculation of ages. I thought about it while I was playing this game. I was like, they keep mentioning the 1977, his age, the 5 pieces age, 17, not 17. And I was like, I do not operate in numbers. Whatever you do, just don't ask me to make the calculations of numbers.
Christine was there with Guy, and when she got pregnant, she panicked. Steve stepped up. He even turned it into one of his recipe stories.
I thought they were not affair children, to be honest. I kind of hope they were not be affair children. She has a bun in the oven.
Not
Okay.
all of Guy's affairs led to offspring. He may have slept with Robin Martin,
Mm-hmm.
but she didn't have
We know
children,
this one.
so we'll never know.
Mm-hmm.
Also, not every child of Guy's affair partners were his. Robert Garland was born after his parents had
Ah.
already moved to Boston.
So one is a son, one is not. Okay.
Skipping Beatrice for now. Up next is Leng Xinyu. When Guy showed up in China, she was into America. And Americans. Dare I say redheads, even?
Probably.
When she got pregnant, her father paid key genes to fake
Mhm.
IVF.
Okay.
But her sister and Jerry had their own son, Mark.
Okay.
Sonia
I know
Alves
this.
was soon after. Nia was married at a very young age to a much older husband. She resented him. I don't blame her. They allegedly spent no time together in private. Guy
Mhm.
was in Brazil during Christmas 1979.
Yeah, you can tell by this
It's the
photo.
only Christmas not in the records. Flavio was born 9 months later, and like the others, Guy started paying Sonia.
Yep.
Last was Susan Ford, hired to translate for Guy's overseas trips. It's easy to read into Guy's donation to her school,
Mm.
but there's no. She and Guy were witnessed together near the end of his life. Susan's husband was convinced he couldn't be the father of her daughters. Guy, though, paid double.
Mm-hmm.
The price of twins.
Yeah. Yep.
So, what about 5 Ps? Felix Fellow's mother, Joanna, doesn't have a 5 pieces flavor. On top of that, his
Yep.
story doesn't really add up.
But why did the DNA test come positive is the question.
His mother already left the company by the time Guy became president.
Uh-huh.
And his lyrics indicate he was born sometime around 19. Alone, that wouldn't necessarily prove it. But there are some suspicious connections between Felix and the company's current lawyer, Ruby Spratt.
Foster care. Foster system.
They both grew up in Portland, in foster care. And according to the local paper, they definitely knew one another.
Mm-hmm.
Ruby was the one who approached the Roottrees to begin with. It was all a setup.
Fascinating.
Ruby and Felix saw my book's challenge to the Clancet Trust as an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
His mother really had worked for Roottree, and Ruby was a respected lawyer.
So the Jane Doe, what's her name? Something May. Anonymous contacts the Roottrees company. Tells them her story. The Ruby legal company sends the letter back saying fuck off. Politely. Then the Ruby takes the story of the Jane Doe's mother. Beatrice, I think, Watts. And tells it to her friend 5P's, Tarty Davy. So they can so he can use its story as his own and con the Roottrees out of the money. Because both of them hate rich people. Which is not a bad hobby to have.
She exploited my family's greed, worked her way into control of the trust, and ensured Felix got a piece. But they made some mistakes along the way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, I skipped. Yeah, I was aware that this was what I was pointing out, that these are not the same.
But the two signatures that should both represent Bunnie don't match. After Clark and I confronted her, Ruby lawyered up. Ironic, I know. We suspect Ruby had Donatico test Felix against his own mother's DNA. He had a hairbrush of hers. They sent the female sample in remotely. On the second test, Bonnie's sample was tested locally, but Courtney May's was not.
Interesting.
Ruby's been throwing away samples. We think she sent her own hair instead of Courtney May's, but it could have been anyone's.
True.
Ruby and Felix were in cahoots. As for why, they were both advocates of wealth redistribution.
Interesting way to phrase it, but
A noble effort. But once
noble
they controlled the
effort.
family fortune, they became just as greedy as the worst members of my family. The money corrupted them.
exactly.
They were so eager to personally wield the wealth for their own cause that they sabotaged any other claims.
Mm-hmm. Nope. And you're not a redhead. This is a thought I had because I think both of his parents were redheads. And there's like a very little chance you're not a redhead if both of your parents are redheads. It's a very strong gene.
That finally
I mean,
brings us to
not his real
Anonymous,
parents, but the
aka
on the tree.
Beatrice Watts. Her tales of guys' parties and payoffs were true.
Of course.
She even approached Ruby before 5Ps was on news time.
Yep.
Ruby used Beatrice's truths to make Felix's lies feel real, then ruined the DNA test so that Beatrice looked phony in the public court of opinion. I feel worst for her in all of this.
True. Ba-bum.
While Ruby and Felix stole the show, there were some other potential new family members as well. Miracle Roottrees was less of an open and shut case.
I like the reflection in the glasses in this magazine cover.
That said, it's very likely he had a son with Mary Beth Clementine. Not Stuart. Mary Beth adopted him before she ever set foot in Butler County. That leaves Mark. The timeline fits.
And the character also fits. I feel like Crocodile, what's his name, would fit perfectly into the family of Miracles.
He showed up about 9 months after Mary Beth visited Miracle, and the basket baby story is a bit too convenient. If that's not enough on its own, he was also bailed out by the sister of Edith Roottree, Miracle Jr.'s wife, after she changed her name to win that silly contest.
Caught this.
Our best guess is that Mark was told by his mother whose son he was, and used that fact to put some pressure on Miracle Jr. We have no real proof of that, but nothing else really makes sense for why they'd be connected in that way.
Nope. Problem. Got these right, I think.
Elias's affair was the most ambiguous.
Oh, yeah.
Gwyneth was able to coerce Elias to do things he wouldn't have otherwise done, like pressure to include me in the family. My son even mentioned them arguing about someone named Beth.
Or Bess.
Combined with Gwyneth's lisp, it's possible the name was actually Bess.
Yep.
Unfortunately, all we know about Bess Williams is that she wrote his book and died not long after, leaving her only son an orphan.
Exactly.
The timeline fits with Wildcat, but there's no record if she had any other relationship. Honestly, I wouldn't say we had enough evidence either way.
I agree. And he's also dead, so...
I wouldn't be surprised if Elias cheated. Of course, I'm a bit biased. Regardless, we haven't gotten in touch with any of the Williams clan yet.
There's a lot of them.
That means we haven't been able to do a DNA test. As Clark mentioned, from here on out, all of our DNA tests will be in person for both parties.
Mm-hmm.
Lastly, we have a bit of a curveball. Ron Roottree isn't related to us by blood. Gwyn was definitely pregnant, so it's likely Robbie is. When Ron and Robbie went to visit their mother at the end of her life, something changed.
Previously, Ron was the one who wanted to push Robbie out of the trust, claiming that because he was born after the parents... Huh? No. For some other reason, probably. Because he was sabotaging. Blah, blah, blah. But it turns out that actually Ron was not the blood relative and Robbie was.
Additionally,
Ironic.
there have been a few rumors circling around Ron. RR Productions canceled the Guys Like Us remake due to the director's illness. At the same time, Ron's wife Penelope began doing benefits for Huntington's disease, stating that she had become familiar with it. Huntington's is the same disease that Gwyn's former co-star Leslie Florence had. It's passed from parent to child. Because Gwyn and Wild Bill didn't have Huntington's, and Ron seems to, it's impossible Gwyn was his mother. I recently confirmed all this with Ron.
But why did she adopt him is the question.
At the end of her life, Gwyn told Ron the story. Leslie and Bill had an affair the same year Leslie learned she had Huntington's.
Because she knew she was going to die?
Pregnant. Leslie wasn't likely to survive to see her child grow up. And even if she did, she didn't want to be a burden. She begged Gwyn and Wild Bill to adopt her child.
That's sad.
Gwyn did. Mere weeks after she found out she was having her own son, she also took in Ron.
Why didn't anyone question the timeline then? I didn't really pay attention what was the age difference between brothers. But...
Wild Bill was a problem. Unreliable and a serial adulterer. Gwyn divorced him and never saw him again. Gwyn had already told Starlet she was pregnant, so it never really made waves when people saw her with a child in Paris. There was gossip during her divorce when she was discovered to be pregnant again. In actuality, it was the final months of her only pregnancy. To lay low, she stayed in Paris long enough that even her own family never had reason to question the timeline.
Okay, thank you.
It's one heck of a story, and frankly, nobody could be expected to piece the timeline together.
Yep, thank you.
Not with what few mentions of Gwyn's past have survived. But the Huntingtons itself? That's proof.
They look similar enough, to be honest.
Ron suing Robbie to remove him from the Clancid Trust was a huge moment in my story, and a major catalyst for this entire investigation.
True.
Finding out that it's been pretty much backwards this whole time has been a bit surreal.
Irony.
So that's where we're at. Looking over the information you sent us was very helpful.
You're welcome.
We pretty much came to most of the same conclusions. But it took us an entire team of lawyers.
It took me a rubber duck. The help of a magic rubber duck.
All this information, this entire
I will lend it to
story,
you.
It's a lot, in more ways than one. Some of it has the potential to destroy marriages and ruin relationships.
True. But most of the marriages that it would
We're
destroy
handling it
have
all
already been
very,
destroyed.
very carefully. But we couldn't have gotten here without you. And with that, I guess our tale has finally, truly come to an end. What a strange one it was.
It was a very strange one.
No words can express how grateful I am to you for untangling this mess. Honestly, I've had enough of my family's eccentricities and scandals for one lifetime. I imagine you have as well. And well, there's always Elias's and Gwyneth's brothers and sisters.
No, thank you.
Attention, attention, Roottrees.
Attention, Roottrees.
Coming at you from the real world. You know, the place you ain't ever lived in.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Root of all your
Man, y'all are
problems.
hypocrites, sitting back in your
I need a
massive
break from
estates.
all the family
From
drama.
the cash that your ancestors gave you, acting
I
like
definitely
you
like this
somehow
game,
deserve it, based on your
but as I said a
family's
bit earlier,
creations. Yo,
the
look at
mental
here, sonny,
leaps
don't you come for our money, or you might
are getting
burn
to me.
bright in hellfire someday, like that Madsen chick and her two dads. My pappy's Clancid Trust should keep you away. Yo, it's disturbing, catching a sermon from a geezer who's never known hurt.
I like how they almost got away with duping a whole billionaire family.
Your worth it came free with your name. You expect me to treat your lectures on greed as some expert creed from he without blame. How about instead, I turn my other cheeks and spread them. When you give me a kiss, you'll know just where to aim.
What?
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those
Dishmu and Dishmu.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burning spoons for the needle. So once more with passion, tell this poor tragic orphan how your mansions and Porsches are actually horrible.
How I'm better off penniless, grasping for morsels. How wanting my share,
That's actually extortion. With your candy ass name, synonymous with sweets. Oh, you wanna call me classless? I'm gangster from Portland, but I play that game. I came up on the streets. The only streets you reppin' are Park Place and Boardwalk. Your hypocrisy, monopoly is toppling. When I knock, have G's.
top off my pockets, please.
Cause the same God that got to steal my mom from me is what he wants, right? For you to live in poverty. And if you're suddenly not eager to unhand that fortune, that's unfortunate. I guess I'm gonna have to take my portion, and I'll do it all legally. Class action, courtrooms, decorum. I'm way past your fancy ass dormant.
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Bring the choir.
I wonder if the female voice in this is Ruby.
Is the root
It's supposed to be Ruby, canonically.
Let me take those problems away.
Wouldn't that be fun?
You say money is the root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burning spoons for the needle. Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks
Beautiful.
burning spoons for the needle. Whoever calls dollars
purely coincidental. Or so you think. Or so they'd want you to think. And BRB was on the screen the whole freaking time. I don't care anymore. The amount of scuff I had this final part of the game. Hello, dark screen. Hello. 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 Excuse me, game. Don't scare me. Okay. I don't know if it's safe to close it if there's something else after the credits. Oh, it was worth it. It was worth it, I think. And it was a fun, creative game with a lot of good writing and good music. Music, especially, was very good. The soundtrack and the original songs. And if I have questions about some mental leaps, they can be solved by using the magic duck, so it's not like I was super inconvenienced by him. I will miss the soundtrack, to be honest. I should get it on Steam or something. Anyway, the stream went for longer than I expected. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you feel better. And I hope you have a great weekend. And I'll see you tomorrow. Final episode of Arctic Awakening. And maybe something new. Bye-bye. 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 Otsu. Otsu. Mata ne.